black child that was weighted to those places, you just had to adjust. Hey? You just had to adjust to the fact that you were a black person in a school that pretended to not be racist. And you spent the 5 years of your life just thinking, why am I here? Oh yes, and then I'm here to get an education. My parents don't care, just grow up and deal with it. Although my sister was lucky, the one time one of her school teachers said, called you, she wouldn't let you do a project of Winnie Mandela. And then my father apparently went to the school and told the teacher she was a fascist and the rest of it. So, but that was just about the only intervention I remember. The rest of the time when we were suffering from the psychologically from all the whiteness, nobody came. No, but seriously, you should watch black children in white schools. They really try to contest, you know. They contest it. And the schools never understand. They call it rebellion and cheekiness and the rest of it. But of course, what does it matter that all that happened? Because you know what? I emerged from my lovely white high school, and what did I have? An exemption? Social capital. And I went straight into Rose University, which is just like another white high school. And of course, first of all, my parents were middle class, so I could afford it. They were credit worthy and the rest of it. And then once I left Rose University, I didn't struggle to get a job because as it turns out, if you come from a historically white university, chances are you're going to be recruited. And because your qualifications are perceived as being of better quality. And I think also because you're perceived to fit into a certain culture. And I also visit my friends that work at Unilever. You know, there was a time in Unilever, I don't know if they still do it, I haven't been in student recruitment, I haven't seen that in a while, but you can sense they're looking for that spunky graduate who speaks like this, you know, and, you know what I mean? They're not looking for, you know, they're looking for who's banbani. And that here is the problem, because what it is that the desegregation project has been a class success for people like myself, the fruits of white education, I've shared them, I have white peers and the rest of it. But it's been a total political failure as far as greater education reform is concerned. So I would effectively argue that what desegregation did was it, first of all, replicated the dominant idea that exclusive is better. And I would just venture to say tentatively that somehow in black people's minds that is true. And in white people's minds that if it's exclusive, it's better. And yeah. You know, I would argue that the assimilation therefore happens the whole way through. You assimilate into the school, then into the university, then they recruit you into the assimilated workplace. So if you look at that and you look at how education plays a role, then you obviously you're reproducing class there. And class is defending itself there. Of course, so what this tends to mean is that education becomes a form of class advancement, but different from the past in the sense that now it's happening outside of black community. It's happening now in hegemonic structures. So it's happening because now you've stepped into the white space. Not because you've dismantled it, because you stepped into it. Okay? Now I'm going to move on to the second argument and related to this, what I've just been talking about. I would argue that about, 20, 30 years ago, and I'm just getting this from text and my own memory, so I didn't look through it but incorrectly. There were probably two segments of black society. I'm making this argument. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just making it. Or let's say three segments. The professional classes, and these were teachers, policemen, nurses, administrators in the Bantustan. Then a second layer, the petty bourgeoisie, the people that own butcheries, taxis, and the shops. Yeah. Then you had a third layer, the working class. So these three segments. And who was at the top there? The ones who were educated. Teachers, nurses, and then obviously in the 70s and 80s, more and more blacks that were being brought into the corporate sector. Alright? But if we look today, and this is where the second argument comes in, teaching has lost its